What you doing?
Oh, just getting all my fixings and stuff together. What is that beautiful display I saw? Are you making something with lemons?
Hmm.
So I'm going to assume, yes, it's lemons because this week we're doing fruit pies. I'm thinking you're probably doing one of our mother's favorite pies.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you making a lemon meringue pie? I guessed it. The lemons gave it away. Oh, those look magnificent. Oh my gosh. I do like lemon meringue pie. Well, I'm going to let you guess. Now, I have my ingredients sitting in front of me. I've got some honey. I've got some maple syrup. I've got some bourbon. I've got some walnuts. I've got some dried cranberries.
So cranberry walnut pie?
Not yet. I've got some blueberries.
Oh, what?
And then,
oh, well.
I'm doing apple, blueberry, cranberry, walnut, bourbon, kitchen sink, fruit pie.
Bourbon pie.
Kitchen sink, fruit pie.
Yay.
And bourbon, because why not? So
why not?
I am just going to tell you that I have been fighting a head cold all week. And when you said pies, I was like, okay, I can do pies. And then I started not feeling well and I was like, am I really going to feel like making a pie? So I'm sure that you're going to go all out and you are going to make the best pie crust that one has ever seen. I, however, bought store-bought.
I bought store-bought too. Because I've had a long week and I have a long week next week at work. So I'm like, I need something easy. And I'm not a baker. I like to cook, but I'm not really a baker. And I have not perfected pie crust, biscuits, things like that. So yeah, I bought the frozen pie.
Well, but I think that just goes to the point of all of this with Dishin with Sissy is that you can make good, yummy stuff, but not have to spend all day in the kitchen. Like if you don't like to bake, buy the pie crust already made, buy the pizza crust already made, buy this, that, or whatever already made, put your own spin on it, which is exactly what you and I do. So that's what it's all about. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to get going with your fruit pie?
I am. I pre-baked my little frozen crusts, and I did buy one of the refrigerated rollout kind too to try. I might try that one where you roll it out into the pan. However, I have the others on standby, ready to go.
Smart. I actually bought the rollout. And I bought some little cutters just to kind of make it look cute. Because again, you can buy the easy cut and you can buy the easy rollout pie crust. Use the cute little cutters and make your own little like border or center or whatever. And it looks like you spent all day in the kitchen, but you didn't. Because I got things to do.
Nobody knows. Hi. So welcome back to my kitchen. I'm still in the fall feel. And as we discussed, I'm gonna make lemon meringue pie, and this is dedicated to Mom and all you others who like the lemon meringue pie. This recipe is super easy, and the meringue is not like any I've ever had from store-bought pies or any other made pies. And it's like so tasty and delicious and just like floofy. I'm going to zest some lemon.
Hey, welcome to Pie Day with Dishin with Sissy. Yes, we are going to do fruit pies. And as you already heard, we are both had a very busy week. And so I know that Sissy is number one making a lemon meringue pie. So I'm going to need to watch that one real close because that sounds amazing. And we're both using store-bought crust. Again, there's no reason you can't go easy and still make it look fantastic. So that's my objective, is to have a nice, tasty pie that makes it look like I spent all day in the kitchen, but really was able to do it in no time flat. What's going to take me the longest is peeling these 4 apples. I am going to peel and core 4 Granny Smith apples, and that's going to take us into putting everything else together for this pie. So I'm going to get that done. Go find out what Sissy's doing with them lemons.
I got the lemons zested and juiced, and I'm going to start on the filling. So, we have 1 1/4 cups of sugar. I've got 1/4 of a cup of cornstarch, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and also some flour, which is 3 tablespoons of flour. So I'm going to put this all in, put it on low, 1 1/2 cups of water. So once it starts to get hot, I'm going to start adding the water in a little bit at a time. This is all mixed. Put a little bit in, stir it up. It's going to melt down. It's making like a lemony custard. Yum, yum.
My fruit pie is going to be apple. I've used 4 Granny Smith apples. You need about 6 cups of apples. I'm going to toss in some dried cranberries and I've got frozen blueberries. They've been thawed, they've been patted dry. I've got some walnuts. I'm going to throw in some honey, some bourbon, some maple syrup, and kind of make my own spin on an old classic favorite apple pie. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stir together some of the dry ingredients. So we're going to take 1/3 cup of sugar in a very large bowl. We're going to add in 1/4 cup of flour. And we're going to add 1 teaspoon each of ground cinnamon and allspice. We're just going to mix those together to get them combined very well. So when we add in our fruits and everything starts sticking, it's all fairly evenly distributed. Okay, sugar, flour, cinnamon, and allspice have been mixed up. We're now going to add 6 cups of Granny Smith apples that have been peeled and cored and sliced. 1 cup of dried cranberries. We're going to add 1 cup of thawed frozen blueberries, and that blueberry juice is going to get in there and turn everything purple. It's okay. It's going to taste fabulous. We're going to toss these around just to get all the fruit coated. You're going to be careful not to smash if you're using a fruit like blueberries or tart cherries or something like that. Just kind of fold it over. You don't want to stir too much because you don't want to get them squished. I'm also going to toss in about 1 cup of walnuts. And I'm leaving these whole only because the fruit are so big, and I want you to be able to taste that walnut when you bite into that. I don't want people to have to search around for the walnut flavor. Okay, our fruit is evenly coated. We're going to add 1/4 cup of honey. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And 1/4 cup of your husband's favorite bourbon. I'm also going to, just before I toss this, I'm going to add in a little bit of almond extract, just because we don't have enough flavors going on in this. About 1 teaspoon of almond extract as well. And there is our pie mixture. Now, the next, ooh, that smells so good. Ooh, that just caught me wafting up. That's delicious. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to set this aside and we are going to roll out our pre-made refrigerated dough. Now, when you want to take this out of the refrigerator and let it set for about 8 to 10 minutes, just so it's still fairly pliable, but it's not, you don't want it too soft because it'll just start kind of falling all over the place. You don't want it still too cold because it'll be hard and it won't kind of fit. So 8 to 10 minutes sitting out should just about do. I'm going to roll this out on my baking mat. I'm just going to kind of straighten this out a little bit before I transition it over to my pie plate. Now, if you have time and want to make your own pie crust, by all means, go ahead. I often do. But when you're having one of those weeks where you're very busy or you're not feeling well or a little bit of both, and you are making pie, there is nothing wrong with using a pre-made pie crust. I said what I said. Okay. We're going to take this beautiful pie crust and we're going to put it in our pie plate. Just making sure that we get it to cover. Okay, pie crust. How easy, easy peasy. We're going to toss this in. Of course, it's going to look like a lot, but as it cooks and it cooks down a little bit, you still want to make sure that there's a lot in there. So make sure that it all fits. The bourbon, the walnuts, the almond extract, the fruit, it just smells so good. I'm not a bourbon person. That's why I said use your husband's favorite bourbon. I'm not a bourbon person, but I do like the flavor in certain things, and apple pies are one of those things. Little escapee blueberry, we're going to get everything in here. Get in here, in here, in here. We're going to make sure that it's as even as possible because I do have another piece of pie dough that we're going to decoratively place on top. So I'm going to roll that out. I'm going to make my decorations and we'll get this in the oven.
I'm down to cooking it on the lower temperature for 2 minutes. I turned it down. It's like super thick. All right, so the mixture has thickened and it says to put a small amount of this filling into the egg yolks so you can temper them so that you can add them to the this hot mixture without it turning into scrambled eggs. So what I'm going to do is get my little whisk. I'm going to take a tiny bit of this and put it in here while I'm whisking, just so that it gets that hot. I'll put a little bit more in. You don't want to have scrambled eggs in your lemon custard. All right, that looks fantastic. No lumps, no scrambled eggs. So then I'm going to pour these in here while I'm whisking. You need 3 hands when you're doing this stuff. Crazy. Stir it in, whisk it in. Get all the rest of it out of the cup. All right, so I got the egg yolks in there, the butter and the lemon zest. So I'm putting the butter in. That stuff is super hot and sticky. I got my lemon zest here. I got a teaspoon, about a half a teaspoon. A little extra is not bad. So whisk this around. Whisk around the zest. It's turning a nice yellow color. And now we're going to stir in the lemon juice. It says gradually, so I guess we're just gonna drizzle and stir. Make sure you don't have any seeds in there. Nobody wants to bite into a lemon seed in their pie. Right, Stevie?
Right.
Ooh. Yum, yum. Oh boy. That's delicious. All right. Okay. You want to lick the spoon, Stevie?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just about done. I'm putting the finishing little decorative things on it, and I'm crimping the sides and the underneath just so everything kind of sticks together. I hope this tastes as good as it looks and equally as fun as it was to make it. So the last thing I need to do, I'm going to just brush on some egg white, and then I'm going to sprinkle the top with some sugar. And then we're going to pop this in the oven. So if you notice, I did a half lattice design and kind of free-formed the rest of it. That's what I love about this. You can be as creative as you want to be. Do ya thing. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar over the crusts and the decorations. This is a more coarse sugar. You can use regular sugar if you don't want to go out and get coarse sugar, or if you can't find any coarse sugar. About 1 tablespoon is what we're going to add. Shouldn't be more than that, even with a full crust. Here is my apple, cranberry, blueberry, walnut, bourbon pie. We're going to toss this in the oven. We'll come back when everything's done, and can't wait to cut into this.
In this small pan over here, I've got some sugar and some cornstarch, and it just calls for you to mix them together with some water, and what was it? Half a cup of water. Stir constantly until it turns clear, and then we're going to take it off the heat, and we're going to move to the mixer that I have set up here to make the meringue. So I just wanted to show you this little part. It's not hard, it's super easy. You're just waiting for this to turn clear. It's kind of a cloudy, milky color right now. I'll show you a cloudy, milky color. And I want you to keep it over low heat until it's clear. And I put the pan on the back burner because it's smaller, but I had turned on the front burner, so I was waiting for it to get hot, and it wasn't doing that. So this is why I'm not really a baker. It's complicated. This never did get clear. I had it on the stove and I stirred it for quite some time on low, but it is thoroughly mixed, so I'm just going to go for it at this point. Whites, this is 3 egg whites. I'm going to pour it. It says to use a glass or metal bowl. So I'm doing that. 3 egg whites. It's cream of tartar, 1/4 of a teaspoon. And so this has cornstarch and cream of tartar, which makes it like super stiff and creamy at the same time. This meringue is more like a delicious marshmallow topping, if you ask me. So then, and some salt, a pinch of salt. So I have just some salt here. I'm going to grab a pinch and put it in there. And put the mixer on until it's foamy. Mix in some vanilla. 6 teaspoons of sugar. So I'm just going to gradually add this in there. Okay. All right. So this would be like soft peaks. It's still. Now we're going to pour in the cornstarch mixture. Which never did really get clear, but I'm gonna just stir it up and put it in there. Now we're going to heat this until it's stiff. So I'm going to turn it on high. And it's going to make stiff heat. Okay, let's see where we're at. Because if you mix it too much, it's going to go back to liquid and be... So if I put this in here... It's pretty thick, so pretty delicious too. All right, we have the pie. Take this out of here, and we're just gonna spoon this delicious meringue on top of here. And it says you want to spread it all out to the edges to seal so that it doesn't, oh my goodness. It's like, There's a lot of meringue here. All right, putting it to the edge on the crust. Wow. All right. This is a lot of meringue. Pearl had to come in here and see what I was talking about. All right. Oh boy. So you just kind of do a little swirliness. Look how much is still left in the bowl. I made a mess. As I usually do. I'm just gonna swirl this. So here it is. Look how high that meringue is.
See, that looks fantastic.
Do you see? Do you see?
Oh, I see.
I made a little design with the crust. I don't know if you can see it, but there are some apples. I did like a half lattice. Then there's some apples and some leaves.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, so is yours. Hold up that pie and let me see those peaks.
Okay, yeah. This, oh my goodness, this meringue recipe.
Oh, now tell me, how difficult was that to make? Because that looks like it should be sitting in a bakery shop somewhere.
It was more difficult than I remembered from the last time. I've only made this twice, so it took a little more time than I remembered. But all in all, it's basically pretty easy. And Sissy, I never used to like meringue because it's got that eggy taste, you know, and the meringue to slide off of the pie. This is like marshmallow fluff. Delicious. Good.
I'd say for two people who aren't real bakers, we did a pretty darn good job.
I got no complaints from what it looks like so far. Let me tell you, I did. So when it came out, I sprinkled just a tiny bit of lemon zest in the meringue just to make it look lemony. And I took some really thin lemon slices and I caramelized them with sugar on and put them on there.
So did you use your the pie crust that you baked, or were you able to use your rollout one?
I used the frozen one that was already in a pan. The rollout one, I mean, it came out pretty good, but it's kind of shrunk down a little bit. It's got some got some low sides and whatnot, but I'm gonna make a second pie because I promised the neighbors I'd bring them a pie, so. I use this one for us because it's gonna taste good. Who cares what it looks like? But it's got some low spots there where the filling would seep down in, so I'm gonna practice making pie crust. What about
Well,
you?
I just think we need to make more pies on Dishin with Sissy.
We should, but that sissy.
Got some cheddar cheese because I remember Papa used to like cheddar cheese with his apple pie. And I do have some vanilla ice cream, so we can have either or both. And yeah, it smells delicious. Like you see my face is like right over it.
Man, I
smell
imagine.
the fruit and I smell the allspice, the bourbon, of course.
Walnuts?
Huh?
The walnuts?
Oh, I smell the walnuts.
Yeah.
The cinnamon, of course. It's just everything is you can smell, and each one of the things that I put in there is just seeping up from here. And
Yum.
it smells
Like